When you become a hero, especially in Formula One, it's extremely common to attract some haters. And if anyone in Formula One has attracted some hate right now, it's Max Verstappen, who is untouchable, amazing, and unstoppable. Why is it that Max, a young and talented driver, polarizes the F1 world? Let's find out. Max Verstappen is okay with some F1 fans hating him since he acknowledges that it's part of the deal when competing against their favorite drivers. Verstappen's remarkable push to prevent Lewis Hamilton from winning a potential championship in 2021 will go down as a campaign for the ages, and he became a divisive character among Hamilton supporters as a result of it. The Dutchman is not overly concerned and believes it's okay not to be well liked by all Formula One fans. Verstappen remarked in an interview he gave to Channel 4 over the summer break, "It becomes a little more heated when you're battling their favorite driver because it's personal. A Lewis Hamilton supporter doesn't care about someone finishing P18, but it becomes a little more heated when you're the direct competitor. That's okay, but I shouldn't alter myself to please a fan because I am who I am. And I'm not going to change because then you're a phony. And if someone doesn't like me, that's fine." This season, Verstappen and Hamilton have not been direct rivals. After 13 races in 2022, the Dutchman leads the British driver by 112 points in the World Drivers' Championship standings. In fact, Max Verstappen has been a much calmer version of himself since the Formula One season took off, and that has also shown in the results he has delivered. The Austrian Dr. Helmut Marko explained the contrast in the reigning world champion's on-track demeanor in an interview with Viaplay in the Netherlands before the 2022 F1 French GP. He, Max Verstappen, has gotten considerably calmer, Marko added. He's better at handling the tires. He no longer feels the need to win at all costs. Marko declined to say which of Verstappen and his Mexican teammate Sergio Perez is Red Bull's best driver this season, despite Verstappen's commanding lead in the World Drivers' Championship standings. "In essence, we don't have a first driver, but it's also true that no one can threaten Max the entire season," he remarked. "It is still the same." Fortunately, Sergio Perez has also become stronger, but Verstappen could be on track to set a new record for most wins in a single season if he continues driving at this level. Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher currently hold the record jointly with 13 wins each. If you're in doubt of anything, you can trust Max Verstappen to shatter that record. Meanwhile, some haters also believe that Max Verstappen's recent domination is bad for him and F1. Why would anyone even think that? At this point, it's just hate. Max Verstappen's supremacy has taken over the sport in several races. The Dutch driver has been so dominant that he's wrapped the title up with 4 races to spare. Before even a lap is completed, it's practically a given conclusion that the Red Bull driver will be the favorite to win the race. Verstappen has won 3 of his last 5 races after starting outside the top 5 in his most recent victory run, which now stands at 5 races. Verstappen was nowhere near the front at Hungary, Spa or Monza, although he was the favorite to win in 2 of these 3 races. This simplifies his job, especially following a tense title battle last season. However, some believe that the Red Bull driver's overwhelming rule benefits neither the sport nor Max Verstappen himself. Regardless of what people think, whatever happens on the last lap of the race for this season, the 2021 F1 season will forever be remembered as one of the best in the sport's history. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, the season's 2 main protagonists, went head-to-head. The quality of performance by the two was superior to anything else they had done in their careers. There was a lot of friction between the two both on and off the grid. Both drivers had automobiles that were operating about equally well. When the team chiefs, Christian Horner and Toto Wolff, welcomed each other, they were near fisticuffs. Most significantly, each race has something unique to offer. Everyone anticipated Lewis Hamilton to win the 2021 US Grand Prix, but Max Verstappen came out on top. A young boy coming from the Netherlands only to defeat a 7-time reigning champion was one thing no one expected. There was suspense, drama, and fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing, culminating in a huge theatrical finish in which the 2 drivers reached the season's final race equal on points. But even producing numbers like that didn't stop people from questioning Max Verstappen's ability. No, they brought the argument to the "it's the car" debate. Would Max Verstappen have won if the vehicle hadn't been as good? He would indeed. He already demonstrated last season that he could compete with and beat the best on the F1 grid. However, the success of this year can be credited to both the car and the driver. Max Verstappen hasn't lost a beat, but Red Bull has leaped the grid in ways that few would have predicted. If this continues for an extended period, Verstappen may face the same charges as two of his predecessors. Before him, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel had significant success driving the grid's benchmark machinery. But for Max Verstappen, it was simply another day at the workplace. From 2010 until 2013, Sebastian Vettel controlled the sport. Lewis Hamilton then took control in 2014 and ruled, except for 2016 when Nico Rosberg won, until he was dethroned in 2021. It is not the fault of these drivers that they had the greatest automobile available to them. Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel were wrongly criticized for using only the finest machinery to win. If the domination continues, it won't be long until the knives are aimed at Max Verstappen. It would be tremendously unjust to expose a driver who is perhaps the best on the grid at the moment to these ideas. Last season, Max Verstappen was crowned the most popular driver in Formula One. One of the factors contributing to this was his evident intelligence. Another reason was that he was the final ray of hope for F1 fans who craved competition. The domination of Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes had gotten so great that the sport had become monotonous. To make matters worse, Valtteri Bottas was respectful to the team and provided little danger to Hamilton's title-winning run. Fans were not only sick of Lewis Hamilton at that moment, but also yearned, though wrongly, to see him fail after years of cruising to title victories. With Max Verstappen dominating right now, he appears to be following a similar template. The Red Bull-Max Verstappen partnership is so powerful that even if he does not start in the top 10, he is still the favorite to win. Despite the controversy over the last race and how it finished, Max Verstappen emerged as a hero. If a single driver continues to dominate, supporters may become bored of winning without competition and turn against him. Something like that is not desired, and for a driver who appears to be on his way to becoming the sport's next superstar, having the fans on his side is preferable. Will his admirers abandon him? We have no idea. Will he be this dominating again next season? It's difficult to say. We can hope that the sport remains healthy and that its next hero is not transformed into a villain by the fans. Starting fourth on the grid, the reigning world champion won his first F1 race at the Jeddah street circuit, holding off Ferrari's Charles Leclerc after another dramatic fight. The result was the perfect answer from the Red Bull driver after he failed to finish last weekend in Bahrain. Despite this, Verstappen was criticized by fans after the race after being recorded grumbling on team radio. A yellow flag temporarily allowed the Monegasque rider to close the deficit when he passed Leclerc in the final moments, which enraged the Dutchman. "That's so unjust," he said following Leclerc's failed effort to recover the lead. Indeed, if it hadn't been for an accident involving two back markers with 2 circuits to go, which brought out more yellow flags prohibiting overtaking, the Ferrari guys would have been in a good position to attempt again. Many would have found Verstappen's response amusing, given the controversial manner in which he was declared the 2021 world champion at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last season, and sure enough, little pity was floating around on social media. Let's be honest, the real reason everyone really hates Max is because he is a brilliant and successful driver. He can be polarizing, but all of his plaudits are well deserved. Let us know what you think of Max. Leave a comment.